Listen, if I am taking care of you as a woman, paying your bills, making sure that every form of stress in your life is non-existent, I will control you. Men are becoming very soft now. You see a man will have his girl, she'll want to go out, she'll dress sexy, he's showing things that only him is supposed to see. He will tell the girl that, I don't want you to dress like this, she will start complaining. Hey, I think you are too controlling, you are too insecure, this is a red flag. All this TikTok nonsense is madness. I will check your phone.
I'm sure a lot of you must have seen this video circulating around the internet, and a lot of you, because of lack of education, would take it as golden. I see every single day on every single continent videos like this popping out, and I just walk past it because I'm not about to get into a battle between who is stronger and who has rights and who doesn't have rights between men and women. I live in this reality, and in my reality, we have to deal with men and women on a daily basis. Instead of us to learn to coexist within each other, we're literally on each other's necks. And you know why this video is completely laughable? Because majority of men these days, especially African men, will say, oh my God, I wish our women were like the mothers of back in the day. Now, this is where education plays a key role into our mindset. This man right here literally did what most African men did. And that is the white man speaks and the black man obeys. Since it's so difficult for us to actually learn our lineages and learn our culture, let me educate you guys a bit. And before we go into it, let me speak about why I made this video. Number one, the comment section was full of women agreeing with this man's way of thinking. And then in 2 words, he tried to embarrass real men with real discipline to make them feel as if the way they treat their women is wrong. Now, let's go back in time in history before colonization. Do you know that back in the day, like, unfortunately, we don't even have our grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents here to speak. And this is why I will always say we have to unlearn a lot of things that have been learned. We know the difference between good and bad, but we choose the evil way because it's easier. Now, like I said, back in the day, in our great-great-great-grandparents' period, women and men had equal rights. Women had voices, they were in positions of power. Women were able to buy lands without any problem. Like, there was no hate between men and women, and it was never a contest between who has more strength between a man and a woman. Women lived freely, made decisions also, and when it came to household responsibilities, it was a combined discussion of who was going to do what. It wasn't a thing of, oh, I am man, so I am superior, so you just obey me and follow whatever I say. But then the British came and they tried to infuse us with that Victorian era knowledge, and slowly women's rights literally went out. Women were literally erased out of history books. Women were now taught to be the weaker version. They were the ones supposed to control households and all that. We literally erased a whole culture and tradition and infused ourselves with the white man way of thinking. And that's what we're still learning till today. Let's even go deeper. Let's speak about bride prices. You know, back in the day, it did exist, this whole culture of bride prices, but it was supposed to bring families together. And when the man misbehaved, the family had the right to come and collect their child from that marriage. But now in modern day society, we have made it a thing of control. The man pays the bride price, so that means he literally owns another human being. Showing your masculinity does not give you control over another person's life. Let's even speak about infidelity, since we are speaking about men in general right now. You know that back in the day, men were publicly shamed for being infidel to their wives. It showed a lack of discipline and leadership. Like, no joke, men were publicly shamed. And yes, the whole idea of polygamy existed, but it was in a completely different context. Marriages were public. Every bad behavior you had as a man was scrutinized in public. But modern day society changed all of it. Now, weak men will tell you these days that it is in their nature to cheat. It is in their nature to have more than one woman at a time. It is in their nature to be violent to their partners, because at the end of the day, they own them, right? But back in the day, you couldn't even try that. You were stripped of every leadership role you had back then because women were important. Our culture as Nigerians, we understand the value women contribute to society. We understood that women were the bearers of children and the creators of nations. But now we use this weak-minded mentality to control women. And I don't even blame the women in the comment section saying, oh, but I agree with him. How wouldn't you agree with him? In the newer generation, you have been taught that you have no value as a human being. And let's not even forget that religion also plays a big role into this. So our biggest downfall as Nigerians is colonization and religion mixed together. And somehow that created a path for men to suppress women's voices and a way for them to control women and their actions. Not understanding that if we actually sit together as man and woman, we could create such a great generation. You're trying to tell me that a woman, after being born into this hard life and had to go through the process of education and schooling and had to learn how to create boundaries for herself, is now going to fall for a man controlling her? Under what law does that even make sense to any man? And this is why I say a lot of successful men don't have any other value more than the money they bring. They don't know how to make simple discussions. They don't know how to lead a good woman into the right path. You guys tell us you're our protectors, who are you protecting us from? Because I'm sorry, in the history of the world right now, the one biggest predator for women will always be men. And this is because we lost our way long time ago. Instead of men to show themselves in a positive light, to say, yes, I am masculine and I could actually lead a woman into a good path, we turn that into abuse. We turn that into control. We turn that into superiority. And we call ourselves masculine. If a man feels like because of the money he brings, he has the right to control a woman, that is false loyalty. And that is actually weakness from my point of view. Because what shows the strength of a real man is understanding his value and understanding the value of the woman he picks to be close to him. And together, through compromise, through understanding, through talking to each other, you understand that, okay, you can build a good foundation. And yes, I have said previously in my video, if you're truly with someone you care about and you respect, your phone should never even be hidden in the first place. But it should never be a form of control. That shows how little you are as a man. I don't know who broke your heart. You must have invested your time into someone and it made you bitter and ugly. And instead of you as a man to try to work on yourself to heal those parts of you that feel small, you're now indirectly trying to teach other good men that they are rubbish. You're trying to make other good men feel bad for actually learning how to respect their women. You're trying to teach men who actually love their women that they are bad. And I know majority of Nigerian men feel exactly this way, but that wasn't the way of your forefathers. That wasn't the way of culture. We speak so highly about culture these days, yet we follow no rules of back in the day. We're just human beings dressed in native attire claiming culture. We allowed the white man come and put his foot into something that was working perfectly, where there was balance, where there was harmony, and turn it into chaos. Now we are just like every other person. And women, you specifically, you really need to learn your value. I'm not gonna say you are brainwashed, because sometimes what we learn has been passed down from generation to generation. But it is high time for you guys to also know your value. Great women have fought for decades, for centuries, for us to get back to that balance. But the small-minded people of the world will always keep us down. I am in no fight with no man, and I'm in no fight with no woman. I learned how to create my boundaries, and I learned how to understand my value as a woman. And guess what? That gets me treated nicely. If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. And to the good men out there that actually show value to women, God bless you guys. God bless you for understanding that we are equals in this world. A true woman will never stand and speak about physical strength between a man and a woman. We know you guys are strong. You have to remember the same things you're trying to protect us from are men in general. The day we all realize that we truly cannot live a happy life without being in harmony is the day this world starts moving better.